I like to make a distinction between two types of religionists, as I call them. You have the standard metaphysical religionists, the usual suspects, the ones that profess belief in the supernatural and the mystical adherence, or rather fanatical adherence to monotheistic religions. But then you also have the political religionists, as I like to call them, the sort that we encounter oft in the manosphere, the sort that, in fact, in my assessment, is just as religious as any metaphysical religionist. Now, the resemblance is actually uncanny. Just as in the monotheistic religions, you have Satan as a metaphysical entity and the source of all evil, essentially, corrupting man. Remember, man has been corrupted by Satan. So too is Satan, in large measure, the source of the ills, physical ills in the world. Recall in former times, before people understood anything about medicine or human physiology, biology, anything about science really, at least the common man didn't understand anything about it. An epileptic fit was considered possession by a demon or the devil. Crop failure was sometimes attributed to witchcraft, and so on and so forth, forces of Satan. So the metaphysical religionist, even to this day, to some extent, attributes bad things to some malevolent force, some nigh omnipotent entity that manipulates reality and bends it in the direction of evil personified. Of course, evil within the context of how monotheistic religion tends to define it. But the political religionists, and they actually exist on both spectrums of the political aisle. You have, or rather, both aisles of the political spectrum. You have left-leaning ones and right-leaning ones. But since we almost exclusively get the right-leaning ones here, I'll be talking about those. You see, Karl Marx, the long-bearded one, he is effectively the political religionist Satan. This man is the source of all social ills, of all problems in the world associated with social dysfunction, of all problems with governmental malfunction and dysfunction, of all problems afflicting humanity on the whole, on a social level, of course, because Karl Marx, who wrote Das Kapital. By the way, Das Kapital is like this, is sort of the satanic version of the Bible. It's in the political religionist mind. He believes that this book, and there are other major demonic figures like Engels and Hegel, and even though he's not related to Nietzsche, I mean there are a lot of them in these political religionist minds, but. Karl Marx is most certainly the most prominent, and believe me, they believe that he, and through him, of course, cultural Marxism, which is the projection of his evil, is the fundamental force corrupting society across all levels, echelons. It doesn't matter. All social ills are generated by cultural Marxism. Notice the level of religious fanatic devotion in this belief, much akin to the metaphysical religionist belief in demonic possession, in the devil, and some sort of satanic, nigh omnipotent figure of pure malevolence and evil, who sets things into motion, sets things evil into the world. Well, it really is no different with the political religionists. They have their religion too, and the core evil of that religion is the satanic figure, the Satan, as it's often used with a definite article. In both, as far as I know, the Hebrew is definitely used with a definite article in Koine Greek. Well, this figure is of course the source of all social problems. It's akin to the metaphysical religious belief that Satan causes physical illnesses, catastrophes, and so on and so forth. The political religionist believes that social ills, dysfunction, familial dysfunction, governmental problems, problems between human interaction are all caused, with almost no exceptions. And to the extent that they concede that there's such a thing as human weakness or anything even regarding biology, it's very minimal. It's always superseded by cultural Marxism and the labyrinthine writings of those who derive some of their ideas directly from Marx. But the level of ferocity and belief that Karl Marx, I'm switching between the English and German pronunciation, I don't know why, I'll just stick with English, is the source of all social evil in the world. It does not only borders on religious fanaticism, it is religious fanaticism. This is the rigidity that's typified that you often see in certain facets of monotheistic religious belief. The belief in absolutes, the belief in seemingly simple explanations for complex issues that can be reduced to their simplest parts, but they start with a complex cause. So, for example, the satanic tome Das Kapital, that is a very complex, long-winded piece of shit, in my opinion. It's not really worth reading. I've never been able to get through it myself, actually. And when I did try over 10 years ago, I think I got through a quarter of it and put it down. It's just nauseatingly boring. But of course, I'm a collectivist and a Marxist, so I've actually never finished Das Kapital. That said, that long-winded, boorish treatise by the political religionist Satan, that is the source of all these evils, and people who've drawn upon the 20th century feminists and so on and so forth. All social ills and evils can be attributed to this tome and the man who wrote the tome, as well as the other demonic figures often cited, like Engels and Hegel and some others. They see and the defeat the left motto as a metaphysical concept almost is part of that. The religious credo itself is defeating the left, because the left is the source of all social ills. There would be virtually no social dysfunction if a right-leaning world were to come into place suddenly, with cultural Marxism being completely annihilated. There would be no problems because human nature, according to them, is defined by cultural Marxism. This is their belief. And though they don't say it outwardly, it's been implied so often, and every video they make is about the evils of cultural Marxism, that now it might as well be that they've directly said that. Everywhere you look, there's a boogeyman. Everywhere you look, the Satan exists, and the Satan is Marx and his perhaps his fellow horsemen, if you will, Engels, Hegel, and the rest of them. So it's important to see that glaring similarity between religious fanatics of the metaphysical sort, the metaphysical religionists, and the political religionists, who believe that not only is Karl Marx the great Satan, but you have cultural Marxism, but that politics is the be all and end all. That's the end game. That to allegedly understand political systems and then to correct them is the solution to all human ills on earth. Now, this is heavily implied all the time, because this is all they talk about. If all you talk about is defeating the left, cultural Marxism, Marx, Engels, and you call everyone a collectivist and a leftist and this and that, then it's pretty clear to me that you actually believe that all evils are caused by so-called collectivism, denying the fact that human beings naturally tend towards collectivist, i.e. tribalistic modes of thought, and that Yeah, that's your actual belief. If you profess that constantly, nonstop, as we hear constantly, nonstop from certain figures, or rather figureheads of the political religionist bent, who love to bandy about collectivist this, collectivist that, leftist, Marxist. I mean, none of these words have any meaning anymore because they're used so often, and falsely, mind you. In addition to that, that's likely your belief that these forces, cultural Marxism and the ghost or the ever living demon of Karl Marx, are the sources of all evil. And of course, much as in the Bible or in any sort of monotheistic religious framework, when you defeat the great evil, all paradise, you reign in paradise, and all of this. So if we just need to defeat the left, and there won't be any serious problems. Oh, there might be a few, but there won't be any serious ones anymore, because the left is the source of all problems. Human biology be damned. Human biological history be damned. We don't want to look at that. It's just cultural Marxism. Every problem you have in your life is probably due to cultural Marxism. Do you have diabetes? Cultural Marxism. Do you have a heart condition? Probably Marx, messing around with your heart there. Do you have bad triglyceride levels? Absolutely, Engels working on that one. Cultural Marxism is insidious. It seeps into everything. In fact, if you don't sleep well at night, it's probably because you're being haunted by the demons of what I like to call the three-headed Satan. Marx, Engels, and Hegel. Cultural Marxism affects everything and everyone, and that's why we have to defeat the left. Can you see? Because if we defeat the left, you won't have any health problems anymore. There won't be any social dysfunction anymore. Everyone will be fine. We'll be running through the fields of dandies and dandelions, and the sun will be shining upon our faces, and it will usher in a new age. We just need to defeat the left, though. We have to do that, because all problems in the world are, particularly in the political world, and since politics is the common denominator, the determiner of all problems and all issues in the world. If we defeat the left, we can usher in the golden age of, well, I don't really know how they would term it, but akin to something like Jesus coming. But rest assured, every problem you've had in life is due to cultural Marxism. If you had a parent with a temper, he or she probably was influenced by Das Kapital, indirectly, because the tendrils of this book, even if you've never even touched the book or read it or even heard of it, the tendrils of this book touches every facet of life. We breathe every day. We breathe cultural Marxism. It pollutes our lungs. Maybe you have asthma. Well, guess what? I know the reason why, and you do too now. It's all cultural Marxism, the cause of all evils in the world. This is why we must defeat the left. Because once we do, a new age will be ushered in, and we will live in a paradise on earth. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It should. It also should sound just as delusional if you listen carefully, because that's exactly what these guys are talking about. They're talking delusion, which by now should be pretty clear, but certain people can't seem to drop it. And so they keep on talking about this nonsense over and over and over again. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you, if you have any problems in the world, it's definitely due to cultural Marxism. Health problems, got to get rid of the left, problem solved. Anyway, have a nice day and take care.